Happy Halloween to everyone here at the Hideout. We are in the spooky time of year, so this is going to be a special treat because we have no tricks for you here. Today we are counting down the top 10 horror movies. Number 10, Demons. This award-nominated Italian horror film is about a group of people who get invited to a screening of a mysterious film, only to get trapped by the ravenous demons inside the theater. Compared to the other movies in this series, the original is most well known for its comedic moments and killer soundtrack, making this movie a spooktacular watch for any of our horror fans. Number 9, Re-animator. This entry took first prize at Paris Film Festival of Fantasy and Science Fiction, and Horror a special prize at the Cannes Film Festival. Based on H.P. Lovecraft Herbert West Re-animator, a medical student has invented a reagent which can reanimate the deceased bodies. He and his classmate begin to test the serum on dead human bodies. Later conflict begins with Dr. Carl Hill, who wants to claim the invention as his own. This movie makes our list for its fast pace and gory kills, while still maintaining a good plot twist to keep you on your toes. Number 8, The Howling. Another award-winning entry that will make an excellent treat. This tale of terror has a newswoman being investigated by police looking for a serial killer. After finding the two in a cabin, they open fire on the killer, ending his murder spree. Witnessing this, the newswoman becomes emotionally disturbed and loses her memory. After some time, she tries to defeat her demons. She goes to a secluded retreat called the Colony, where the creepy residents are eager to make her feel right at home. Nights later, after being tormented by hearing unearthly screams in the woods, she finds some things are more than meets the eye. Number 7, American Werewolf in London. Two American tourists, David and Jack, visit a secluded country township in Britain only to be attacked by a large wolf. Jack dies, but David survives when locals come to his rescue, shooting the wolf, who reverts into a human form. Nobody believes David's version of events. However, the locals deny any knowledge of a werewolf. While the police blame a crazy man, David goes through some concerning physical changes. Both homage to the original Universal Monster classics while also being its own thing and ramping up the gruesome effects tenfold. If you're liking our killer list, don't forget to drop a like and don't be afraid to subscribe for more content just like this and more. Number 6, Friday the 13th, Part 6. This iconic slasher makes our list for its gruesome rampage alone, having one of its highest kill counts in a single movie. Tommy Jarvis is released from the mental institution despite still having hallucinations of the mass murderer Jason Voorhees, whom he killed years ago. He returns to Crystal Lake, now renamed Forest Green, to confront his fears alongside his friend Alan Hawes. The pair visit Jason's grave during a thunderstorm, planning to dispose of the corpse once and for all. After things go wrong, our favorite hockey-masked killer lives again to claim a whole new set of victims. Number 5, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. This entry haunts all you lucid dreamers out there. Picking up where the original nightmares left off, Nancy has grown up, becoming a psychiatrist specializing in dream therapy. She meets a group of children at a local hospital facing Freddy Krueger, the same demon she once encountered in her sleep long ago. This makes plenty of opportunities for creative kills, such as becoming a giant puppet master, fighting a killer wheelchair, even repossessing an old corpse. It also has a bit of dark horror elements as Freddy finishes multiple kills with clever one-liners. Number 4, Return of the Living Dead. Every good horror list has to have at least one zombie movie, and this classic is ours. When a pair of employees at a medical supply warehouse accidentally release a deadly gas into the air, the vapor causes a toxic rain that falls and causes dead to reanimate. They go on a rampage seeking their favorite food, brains. This is a great combination of horror and comedy, having plenty of spectacular moments, and is one of the only few movies that can be considered canon. This is because the two reached a settlement wherein Romero's sequels would be referred to as the Dead movies, and Russo's sequels would bear the suffix Living Dead. Thus, each man was able to do what he pleased with the series, while still having the others' work distinct and be considered canon. Number 3, Halloween 2. Our second iconic slasher makes the list. On October 31st, 1978, Michael Myers is shot by a psychiatrist and falls off a balcony. Surviving, he escapes into the night. Wandering an alley, he steals a kitchen knife from an elderly couple and kills a teenage girl next door. Meanwhile, Laurie Strode, who avoided being killed that night, is taken into Haddonfield Memorial Hospital while Loomis continues his pursuit. Accompanied by the sheriff, Loomis mistakes a costumed teenager for Michael, resulting in them being hit by a police car and burning to death. Upon learning the sheriff's daughter Annie has been killed by Michael, he blames Loomis and abandons his search. A quick note from the writer: Halloween is one of his favorites in this entire series, and he highly recommends that you see it if you haven't. Number 2. Day of the Dead, the original. Zombies rule the world, all except for a small group of scientists and military personnel who reside in an underground bunker in Florida. The scientists are using the undead in gruesome experiments. Some try to make the zombies docile, and others try to use them for a possible cure. Finally, the military finds that their men have been used in some of the scientists' experiments and banish them to the caves that house the living dead. Unfortunately for the military, the zombies from the above ground have made their way into the bunker. This one was so popular upon release, it placed number 23 in the top 100 VHSs sold in 1986 after its initial release. We know you're ready for number 1, we know, but first, let's go through some honorable mentions. While these didn't officially make our list, we feel that they are definitely good enough to be mentioned here. Child's Play. Our first honorable mention, winning 2 awards and 4 nominees, shows that even dolls can be scary. And I'm scared of dolls myself, some of them just too creepy. A single mother gives her son a much sought after doll for his birthday, only to discover that it's possessed by the soul of a serial killer. This movie is actually inspired by a real doll named Robert, who is currently in a museum in Key West, Florida. According to museum workers, they can sometimes hear him move and giggle at night, and one interesting note about Robert is that if you're rude to him, or even so much as look him in the eye, you are supposed to be cursed with a string of terribly bad luck. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The second mention is also based on true events of the shocking crimes of post-war America in nationwide news cycles. A group of friends go to investigate vandalism on the grave of Hardesty's grandfather when things start to go horribly wrong. The group runs out of gas, and the only nearby gas station waiting nearby is waiting for delivery. So deciding to wait at a nearby homestead, the group finds an old house and decides to ask about gas. Going into the house after not receiving a reply, which is always a great idea, through an unlocked door, we find Leatherface meets his new victims. After some time, the others enter the house to find furniture made of human bone. This movie is definitely an amazing watch, but becomes that much more terrifying when you look up its history. Finally, the moment you ghouls and ghosts have all been waiting for. Number 1, Evil Dead 2. The top slot goes to Ash and his broomstick. Ash Williams travels to a cabin in the woods with his girlfriend Linda, where they find a tape recording of a professor and find a book of evil, the Necronomicon. This unleashes a bunch of evil spirits that constantly terrorize Ash in a lot of twisted and funny ways. Meanwhile, a journalist comes to the area to study the Book of Evil. They end up having to survive this swarm of evil until morning comes. While technically a trilogy, Evil Dead 2 is an amazing remake of the first and was nominated for 3 awards. That's our top 10 horror movies. Did we cover your favorite scares or possibly convince you to seek some new frights? Let us know in the comments below. We hope everybody enjoyed this list, and until next time, from the Hideout crew and all of you wonderful souls, happy Halloween!